All right, turning now to Washington. Former Vice President Mike Pence will not appeal a federal judge's order to comply with a subpoena. That is according to one of his advisors.
The subpoena is related to the investigation into former President Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The investigation is being led by special counsel Jack Smith. For more, we're joined by NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Danny, good morning. So, interesting timeline here because the judge essentially made this decision last week, but the subpoena came in February. So talk to us about how Pence's testimony could be significant to the special counsel investigation, the pros and cons here.
Well, on the one hand, it could be said that we know a lot of what Pence would testify to. It's been out in the public, but the special counsel is looking for anything else that may have gone on between Pence and Trump. And the reason I find this case so fascinating is that it deals with some bedrock constitutional issues that we don't really deal with that often. The speech or debate clause does not come up very often. But another really fascinating thing is that the vice president is barely a member of the executive branch. His salary is paid for out of the Senate budget. The president can't fire the vice president. There are many historical points that tend to suggest that in many ways the vice president is equally a member of the legislative branch as the executive branch. For example, he only recently got an office in the White House. He used to be in the Capitol. And I'm talking like Walter Mondale, I believe, was the first one with offices in the White House. So this is really a fascinating legal issue, but Pence not appealing signals that he is taking a political approach. He could appeal, but maybe this is sort of him showing, hey, I'll put up a little fight, but I'm not going to fight this to the very end. I'm going to come in and comply. And that probably aids what he thinks will be a good strategy for his own candidacy should he choose to run.
That's a good distinction. There are protections that the vice president has constitutionally.
Yeah, let's talk about that speech and debate clause. Actually, the Pence team is sort of touting this as a bit of a victory here, a partial victory at least. But Pence has already talked about this. He wrote a book that covered this extensively. What more are they hoping to learn here?
They're really looking to learn. First of all, it's speech or debate clause, everyone. I want a memo to go out because everyone says speech and debate. It's speech or debate. I don't know why they drafted it that way.
Well,
it might have been that old-timey language. Yeah. Who knows, right? It's very confusing. I think it should be speech and debate because you want them both included. So this is as I said, we already know most of what Pence is going to say. But it is possible that there were conversations that Pence had with Trump. And when he comes in to testify before the grand jury, he's going to have to bear all. And we may never know what it is he says unless it finds its way into an indictment. If Jack Smith is smart, if he really wants him to be forthcoming, he will make sure that that never comes out and he doesn't even use it in the indictment and it stays only within the grand jury walls, because this is a grand jury I don't expect is going to have a lot of leakage. Unless, of course, as a witness, Pence could always come out and put on a press conference, and there's no bar to him talking about what he testified to. Right. I don't see that happening.
Political speech. And obviously, we don't know when Pence will testify in front of the grand jury, though he is a top contender for the 2024 race. We're expecting him to put his hat in. So briefly here, Danny, what are the next steps in the investigation if he testifies?
Yeah, the Jack Smith, as with all these investigations, particularly Jack Smith's, it's difficult to say what the next steps are because it's done in secret. And nobody does secret investigations better than the federal government, and specifically within the federal government, special counsel, because they're even walled off from the other prosecutors in DOJ. They are in a bubble, a true bubble. And so this is not the kind of thing that they're going to reveal. They don't give press conferences to say, here's where we are in our investigation. I know this from being a criminal defense attorney, is that you often don't know if a grand jury is going to indict your client until they indict your client. They don't send out a letter saying, hey, you're in the clear. They don't like to do that because who knows, maybe somewhere down the road they'll develop more information. So it's very difficult to forecast what the special counsel is doing. But from outward observations, seems like they're moving along.
And judging from the Mar-a-Lago speech on Tuesday, it seems like this investigation is at top of Trump's mind right now. All right, Danny Cevallos, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.